We are back. It is the Audible. It's part one of the week 5 preview, and we've got a Thursday night game in the NFC West that bloom. This one could be a scorcher. It's 49ers and Rams. Let's start with the 49ers side. And again, recording Wednesday morning. So we're all waiting for those injury reports because, of course, we are. We're dealing with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, smoke coming out of the hood. It's got Brock Purdy played. I mean, he's had a couple of games where he's been productive with not the full deck of cards, but he's not practicing. Mac Jones finished game-winning drive 2 weeks ago with a knee brace. He's the healthier of the two. And then we get to the wide receivers. Ricky Pearsall had some left knee soreness, hurt his right knee during the game. I think I have that right. He may not play. Juwan Jennings got sandwiched on a 2-point conversion. He said he's going to play, but that's not certain. So we might see Kendrick Bourne. We might see Demarcus Robinson. We might see Christian McCaffrey touch the ball like 35 times in this game. You might even look at the Rams defense here. This has been a matchup where at times, this is McVay Shanahan, right? I mean, at times McVay has had Shanahan's number. So this is another nice NFC West rivalry game. And for the Rams, a team that is healthier and a team that is feeling themselves. And again, I just want to point out that Matthew Stafford's back. We're not worried about Matthew Stafford's back. Defenses, especially defense without Nick Bosa, is worried about how to slow him down.
Yeah, how do you slow down Matthew Stafford when he's on a roll and the no-look passes and don't effing look at me?
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe. Matthew Stafford with the potty mouth. But certainly you'll be sitting on the throne in your fantasy league if you've got Stafford in your lineup.
Yeah, you can potentially play him as a streamer. Now, the 88-yard touchdown was a defensive breakdown, only 10 Colts on the field. But you can throw the ball to Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua.
Woo.
By the way, a lot of also acknowledging Puka Nacua, basically a tight end in the running game. So, yeah, Puka Nacua. Imagine if you could play him at tight end. Most valuable player in fantasy football. Might be most valuable player in fantasy football anyway. Make sure you get Devontae Adams. And again, 4 teams on bye, so a little bit thinner. Devontae Adams, not necessarily high ceiling play, but high floor play. Again, San Francisco without Nick Bosa. And then Kyron Williams, who's been running the ball well. Remember, Jacksonville pushed around the 49ers. Travis Etienne had a good game. So you think Kyron's good as a deep what-the-heck flex. Blake Corum running well. And the Rams, I think this is a team that wants to assert, again, they're still very much in a Super Bowl window.
Yeah, very much in a Super Bowl window, and we'll see how this one turns out. Thursday night, it's been a little bit more entertaining. Not every week, but certainly this week. All right, this one, let's put the lipstick on the pig. Minnesota at Cleveland, new Browns quarterback we'll get to in just a second. But let's talk about old Vikings quarterback and that Browns defense. What can the Vikings do when they're on the road and they're facing a Browns defense that is pretty damn tough at times?
Yeah, 35.5. I know we don't talk about gambling much on this show. That's the over-under. 35.5.
Under.
Right? Smash
Under.
the under.
Under.
Like limbo, how low can you go? So Minnesota doing the twofer across the pond. Carson Wentz, missing Brian O'Neill, missing Donovan Jackson, 2 starters, maybe a third receiver. Ryan Kelly can clear concussion protocols against Cleveland. So you're not loving Jordan Mason here. Even if the game is low scoring and Mason gets 20 carries, might be 20 carries for 50 yards. You're going to play Jordan Jefferson, Jordan Addison, a true what-the-heck flex, TJ Hawkinson on the borderline, just because we saw last week that the pressure on Carson Wentz, in fourth quarter in desperation time, he did put up some numbers, but this is Cleveland's defense, not the Steelers. So other than Justin Jefferson, I'm not really sure who we're liking on this Minnesota side, but this is a team that can win ugly, especially when they're facing a quarterback in their first NFL start.
Yeah, quarterback in their first NFL start. Joe Flacco's going to be the backup, so put the Shadur Sanders fantasies away. It's Dylan Gabriel time. Which means what, Sigmund, for the fantasy assets that you were kind of excited about? And again, you'd say, well, they're just lean on Quinshon Judkins. Yeah, until you just put 9 in the box.
Yeah.
Dare the kid to beat you. So it'll be interesting. I'm mainly waiting, not that I have a ton of Browns on my fantasy teams, but if I did, I might take a wait and see approach if I could.
Yeah, again, a defensive battle here. Hopefully, you have one of these defenses in your lineup this week more than any offensive players in this game. But Quinshon Judkins is the guy. Remember, Kenneth Gainwell almost had a 100-yard game, ran really well against Minnesota last week. So you like Judkins. Take pressure off of Dylan Gabriel. What did we see with Jackson Dart's first start last week? 20 passes. That's the aim for the Browns. You don't want to put Dylan Gabriel at too much risk. His tackles are also banged up. If you're going to play anybody from this passing game, I guess it's Harold Fannin. We're going to go with all rookie offense here. Isaiah Bond, Jerry Jeudy. Again, this isn't necessarily the week with Brian Flores. Probably pop quiz. Remember that one? Speaking of Keanu Reeves, Cease. Pop quiz. Dylan Gabriel, but if they're in good down and distances with Quinshon Judkins, it might not be many opportunities for Brian Flores. So yeah, wake up in the morning, enjoy your coffee, bagel, Danish pastry, whatever you like on Sundays, as you watch some defensive football, hopefully some more offensive football as we get to the 1:00 Eastern starts.
Hopefully with some more of the Michael Myers stance from Ashton
Yeah.
Ginty. Las Vegas Raiders, Indianapolis Colts. This one's in Indianapolis. And the Raiders with Genty, you've seen all the split stats of when he stands up straight in the backfield and then when he does the normal athletic stance. Yeah, just keep doing the Michael Myers thing, Genty. And the Raiders trying to travel and get a win on the road.
Yeah, really tough to know what we're going to get week to week from the Raiders here, especially because of Geno Smith, who's had a couple of games where all he could do was throw interceptions. A garbage time game and a good game to open the season against New England. Indianapolis defense, we're not afraid of it, but they also can swarm. And we've seen them really lump on, again, in that week one against Miami. Colton Miller's hurt. So, yeah, why not Ashton Ginty? Why not Ashton Ginty, again, basically the whole offense like he was last week? Or was it the Bears' run defense? Well, we'll find out a little more, but certainly we're going to expect it to beat Ashton Ginty offense. And then you're still going to keep playing Brock Bowers. 4 teams on bye, you're probably playing Jacoby Myers. You will get to the Colts side. If the Colts do get out to a lead, then maybe that brings Trey Tucker into play. Remember, he had 2 touchdowns in garbage time in their loss to Washington. So we'll see. Again, Vegas, a tough team to figure out right now, except we know that Ashton Ginty is finally showing us why we were so excited to see him in the NFL.
Yeah, just keep it up and keep going on the Colts side. That's the same thing, except get the wins, right? Don't let the ball go before you cross the goal line. How, after Jonathan Taylor did that last year, does A.D. Mitchell do that this year? Like, come on, man. Come on, Colts. Definitely opportunity slipping through their fingers because they're dropping the ball. Well, hang on to it this time.
It must just be the exhilaration of crossing the goal line, Cease. I mean, if we had an opportunity to score an NFL touchdown running away from the defense, I mean, I might take my shirt off or something. I don't even know as I'm going across the goal line. But
Antonio Brown,
right? So we're gonna watch again. I think Daniel Jones is a great play this week against the Raiders. I know that they showed some flaws with the Bears offensive line, Caleb Williams having his worst game of the season so far, but I'm not really worried about them against this Colts defense, partially because of Jonathan Taylor. Wow. Tyler Warren got the rushing touchdown last week. So Jonathan Taylor is still a great play. And as we saw, when it comes through, he had 3 touchdowns in 1 week. That could be again this week. Michael Pittman, the clear number 1. Again, Tyler Warren staying in your lineup, has ways to score as a receiver and a runner. And then we'll see about that second outside receiver. If Alec Pierce can clear concussion protocol, then Alec Pierce is a solid play of what the heck flex, at least, maybe a wide receiver 3 flex. And his blocking will also add more upside for Jonathan Taylor. But if it's A.D. Mitchell, he should have had a 3 for 97 and a touchdown week. He could have that kind of week again if they keep Alec Pierce out from one more week. Josh Downs, who's a very good receiver, just in this offense, not playing that big of a role. So we'll see what happens with that. But with the Colts, they went on the road, faced a good Rams team. If it wasn't for a few lapses, could have got a great road win. So probably see more like the Colts team, the surprising Colts team, Jim Irsay happy from wherever he is watching, should be happy at the end of this one.
And his daughter, one of his daughters, keeping a keen eye from the sidelines.
Yeah.
So that's always fun to watch there as well. Fun to watch Jackson Dart. Football's fun, everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
I know fantasy football sometimes isn't fun, and it's like, why do I do this? I gotta check my fantasy football lineup. But Giants against Saints. You know what we're going to see? Another Jackson Dart win, everybody. This one down there in New Orleans. So Jackson Dart, take it away with no Malik Neighbors, Bloom. How's the pecking order going to look? Of course, Cam Scatterbu going to run all over everything. But what do you expect from the receivers this week?
Yeah, no reason to change the recipe that worked very well last week. Like you said, Scatterbu's going to touch the ball 20, 25 times. Both Darius Slayton and Wan'Dale Robinson had almost touchdowns. In Slayton's case, it was a little bit of an overthrow by Dart. In Wan'Dale Robinson's case, it was a short fourth down pass that he got both hands on but couldn't. It was broken up by a good defensive play. I think it's Slayton ahead of Robinson because of the downfield possibilities. Let's throw Theo Johnson in there, too, who had the shovel pass touchdown. His speed could come into play here. I think you saw Jackson Dart look very comfortable, very much in control, even on extended plays with his end zone right behind him. So I think he's ready. I think he's not going to look like a rookie, not going to be overwhelmed. So while there's not really smash plays in this passing game against the Saints, I think this offense is going to take steps forward. And, Giants fans, we can put the Malik Neighbors injury behind us. We can start looking forward to a future with Jackson Dart and probably with Brian Dable too.
Let's for their sake, Bloom, let's not scare everybody this morning. Right?
You don't want to bring up Michael Myers.
Okay, all right. Well, I'd rather see Michael Myers than Brian Dable. Yeah. I mean, my God, knock on the door, you open the door, it's Brian Dable.
Hey.
Whew, I'm shutting the door. Hey.
Yeah.
He's not Mike Tice. Steak and shrimp and whatever that commercial.
Gotta find that clip.
We do. YouTube lords, find that Mike Tice commercial because it's glorious and ridiculous. 4 games down, 3 games to
Saints. Hey, we're just going to move right on to the Saints. No, it's okay.
I guess we shouldn't move on right on from the Saints, but maybe some fantasy gyms are thinking about moving on from some of their Saints. Yeah. And this is where trade conversation. How many times I've seen trade Alvin Kamara? Have you seen his number? It's not going to happen, everybody.
It's not going to happen, no. And that's maybe why Kirk Cousins doesn't get traded either, as we're getting closer to the trade deadline. Right. And you're not going to trade your Saints, but you are going to see, I think, this offense continue to change because they are hanging around games. Kendre Miller adding as that 2 in the 1-2 punch, some burst, some ability to get through to the second level. And Taysom Hill is going to be back soon. So this team, as long as they can hang around games, that high passing volume we saw in the early games, not going to be there. You did at least see Chris Olave score a touchdown last week. And remember, a few weeks ago, we were like, the Giants, you're going to pick on the Giants, right? Like, we want to get in your passing game options. But again, if the Saints can hang around in this game, they're not going to pass that much. Even Juwan Johnson, you're not as sure about. And remember that Spencer Rattler has been very safe with the ball. Even the interception last week was a Philly special that Kellen Moore dialed up for Chris Olave. So you add running game is good. Spencer Rattler's safe with the ball, and that Giants pass rush really coming alive now. Abdul Carter, hello. That's the thing. They got Jackson Dart, and they also got a franchise player in Abdul Carter. So good for Joe Schoen for pulling this off. And what that means is probably not a lot of downfield fireworks for the Saints passing game in this one.
Now, we'll say 4 games down, 3 games to go because of the bye week gauntlet. And that means we are going to go to Dallas. Well, actually going to New Jersey to talk about the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Jets. And with Dallas there, we're looking at the offense clicking. Jake Ferguson at the top of everybody's list.
Yeah.
So, here we go. Dallas on the road, a winnable game over the Jets. Go do your thing, man.
Yeah, Jerry Jones gets the last laugh. And see, I know before we went on the air, we were talking about morning prayers, morning meditations. Maybe let's have a morning prayer for that MetLife turf to not take anybody from us this week. Please. Let's just start there. Especially when the Dallas offense with Dak Prescott playing this way. Dak is just is playing as well as any quarterback in the NFL, at least last
He's slinging
week.
it.
He is slinging it and staring down pressure. To George Pickens, to Jake Ferguson. So they're in the lineup. Javonte Williams is in your lineup. See if Jaden Blue's active. Miles Sanders is hurt. If Jaden Blue's active again, preemptive pickup in deeper leagues, because once you see that burst, that second gear with that offensive line against the Jets, who Miami's running game was pretty good against them on Monday night. Yeah, we might be talking about Jaden Blue. I don't know if we're going to talk to Kevontae Turpin or Jalen Tolbert, but they're decent complementary options, helping out Dak Prescott's outlook here. Jets defense, Aaron Glenn, yeah, not really a signature unit right now for this team. I'm not really sure what this team has to hang their hat on, but I know against the Cowboys, we can expect a lot of yards and points.
I'm sure you're getting a lot of fantasy questions about trades within their fantasy leagues, Bloom. I'm getting a lot that include Jets, just people bailing on everything. So if you haven't bailed on your Jets, who are you starting and what do you expect?
Yeah, this is so difficult because we've seen Justin Fields against a Steelers defense that was very suspect in week 1 look good. A Miami defense that's very suspect in every week look good. A Bills defense that just absolutely made him look powerless to move the ball through the air. So where do we end up in this game with a Cowboys defense that looks powerless to stop teams from moving the ball through the air? You're still going to go with the run first game plan here. And this is maybe sees one of those games where you say the best way to stop Dak Prescott is keep him on the sidelines with long drives, running the ball. You've got to play Justin Fields. He's a top 5 quarterback play this week. Got to play Breece Hall. Braylon Allen is out for a while with that knee injury. So Breece Hall even got some passes, like 4 or 5 passes from Justin Fields on Monday night. And then, of course, Garrett Wilson, who came through with a solid game, even though we know that Justin Fields, an erratic passer, but every passer, even Russell Wilson, has looked good against the Cowboys this year.
Yeah, we'll see if Bo Nix can look good. This isn't the Cincinnati Bengals, hapless, well, pretty much everything. This is the Philadelphia Eagles on the road, and for the Broncos, Bloom, it is an early start. Usually they're terrible historically in early starts. So you got some confidence, you got some momentum with guys like Marvin Mims. J.K. Dobbins breaking the 38-game streak the Broncos had without a 100-yard rusher. Their 100-yard rusher before J.K. on Monday night was Latavius Murray.
Mm.
Oh, God. So it's been a minute. But is that their identity now? Is that the key to unlocking Bo Nix? And of course, with Sutton there, still not giving up and bailing on Troy Franklin. That attitude's there. Evan Ingram's not doing much. So we'll continue to watch that. And RJ Harvey doing a little bit more. But it's Philadelphia. It's Vic
Yeah. Yeah.
Fangio every day. All right. This will be a little different challenge for the Broncos this week.
Yeah. Also, by the way, sorry, this is abrupt. I forgot to mention Mason Taylor, the rookie, had a good game on
Oh,
Monday
of
night.
course. Anti-chill.
Yeah, for Dallas. Yeah, Bo Nix, you confident now? Sean Penn, you confident now? Because we saw with Carson Wentz going from Cincinnati to face Pittsburgh and having a lot of problem. I think they had like 6 points going into the fourth quarter. So is that what we're going to see with Bo Nix? Boom bust play here. You establish the run with J.K. Dobbins, who's at least a high floor play. Don't know about high ceiling. You mix in R.J. Harvey back to what tech flex because you're not playing the Bengals. Cortland Sutton, well, we know you can count on Cortland Sutton. We'll see if Quinyon Mitchell, who's continued to elevate his game, follows him, so that could bring in some more Troy Franklin or some more Marvin Mims. But we saw Philadelphia's defense look pretty good on the road against Baker Mayfield. You had to have some pretty inspired plays to score some touchdowns against them. So I think the run is the way to go here. We have seen Philadelphia, the Rams push them around. The Bucks not so much, although the Bucks offensive line has been depleted. So yeah, I think that the Broncos want to turn this into a street fight, a game that's decided in the trenches. And hey, the Eagles are all too happy to play that kind of game and win ugly because the wins all count the same.
Yeah, and the street fight, they're the expert at doing that. Broncos number 1 run blocking unit in the league, by the way. So we'll see if that continues against the Eagles. And well, Broncos can't cover tight ends. Dallas Goedert about to have 150,000 points
Yeah.
this week. And then is anybody starting AJ Brown?
Yeah.
What are fantasy GMs doing there? And even Barkley. Now the Broncos struggle to stop the run when you'll actually run Cincinnati. So it's like Barkley, of course, you're starting with confidence. You're expecting perhaps less, but it's Denver. They don't stop the run. They don't stop the tight end. So Barkley, Goddard, and Littering, and
Yeah. With 4 teams on bye, you might go with AJ Brown, although you would think that Patrick Surtain would be stuck to him, and Jalen Hurts isn't going to take chances with the ball. And we've only really seen him come alive as a passer down 26-7 when they had to open up the passing game. I don't expect that to happen in this game. You're probably still going to play Jalen Hurts because he could get 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns. However, he could have had one last week, but they used the tush push as a fake to get Barkley a touchdown. But yeah, you said Dallas Goedert. That's our most reliable guy, getting those red zone opportunities in a good matchup. I guess Devontae Smith is a little bit better of a play than A.J. Brown. I'd say the squeaky wheel theory with A.J. Brown. We love Ron Burgundy here. It's more like the glass case of emotion. Can anybody even hear him? Because I don't think that the Eagles are going to change their attitude, the way they win games. So, unfortunately, what's good for the Eagles in terms of the standings and pacing themselves is not great for fantasy football. But this is the stormy seas that we deal with.
Yes, we'll have to ask our man Jason Woodrow about the link, because I think it's like tchotchkes. You go there for the atmosphere and the attitude.
Yeah.
We got a lot of that in Philadelphia. Final game we're going to talk about is Miami and Carolina.
Oy.
Ooh, we're finishing on a dud. But it's Miami, and it's Miami without Tyreek Hill, who seemed overjoyed. Maybe it was shock. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, now looking for Malik Washington. People rush to the waiver wire. More Jalen Waddle, and Miami on the road against Carolina. Mike McDaniel. I got a buddy of mine, Sean, who's a Dolphins fan. He's like, "When's McDaniel getting fired? End of the year?" I'm like, "End of this month."
Yeah. Well, I mean, the schedule, though, is trying to keep him alive for longer, because this is a Carolina team that for 3 weeks has been one of the worst teams on the field. And then they faced Michael Penix on his very terrible, no good day. But we're going to be watching this one. Jalen Waddle is the number 1 receiver. So he should be in your lineup. Who's going to pick up the slack for Tyreek Hill? Is it Malik Washington, who does have the Jonnu Smith run after catch ability? Is it Darren Waller, who plays Jonnu Smith's position? And of course, we'll see a lot of Devin Achane and probably some Ollie Gordon here, as Miami can have a balanced offense, and they can probably push Carolina around, because this is a listless Carolina team. And Cecil, I wonder, is this going to be another week? What do you say, rich man, poor man? I mean, at this point, I don't care how we get there. If Andy Dalton's playing, you're poor.
Yeah. And Carolina side, good luck, everybody. At home, we'll see what kind of fight they can have.
Yeah, the offensive line's banged up. Bryce Young, good first drive. It is Miami's defense, so you would expect something better, but you would expect something better against New England last week. At the very least, you're going to play Tetairoa McMillan. This could be his real breakout game in terms of fantasy against Miami's pass defense. And Chuba Hubbard, this is a game where you would expect him to do something here, as this is a game that Carolina shouldn't get blown out, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't. Even Tommy Tremble as the number 2 target in this pass offense. What the heck tight end play. He scored the touchdown on the scripted opening drive, had 5 catches in that game. But yes, I almost feel like this is one of those games that, there should be like a mental health on the bottom. Like, if you're having trouble, you're feeling depressed, call this number, because if you're a fan of one of these 2 teams, you're probably pretty depressed.
Yeah, it's a pretty sad state of affairs. We'll see if they turn it around. See if your fantasy teams can turn it around. That is a wrap. Part 1 of the Week 5 preview here on the Audible. Of course, we'll be back on Thursday with Part 2. We certainly appreciate everyone for helping us out on YouTube with a like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And follow Sigmund on all the socials at Sigmund Bloom. I'm at Cecil Lammey. The show is at the Audible, saying thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening out there, too. Stay tuned, and would you please, as always, stay frosty